Like when people look at my success and they look at what I've achieved, those that don't know me will probably think it was easy or got handed off because it looks quite glamorous, but it's not. But you still feel empty. Money or not, you feel empty. Everything in this world, you feel empty. The only time you don't feel empty is when you pray. I was keep it real. Like nothing was fulfilled whatever you need. Nothing, bro. That's the way I can describe it, yeah. But one thing that tops up everything after your prayers is giving charity.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, brothers.
Jazakumullah khair for coming through, bro. Appreciate you coming through. And we were just saying behind the scenes that the first time I saw, obviously, yourself was the whole Channel 4 thing. But prior to Channel 4, and obviously we can get into the documentary, what was life like? Where you from? Just give us a little, maybe 5-minute, intro into where you're from, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. My name's Yusuf, known as Pro PT.
Okay.
Amongst more social platforms. Career sort of started when I come out of prison. Got involved in loads of crazy stuff, involving a lot of gang stuff at early stage. At 15, I was looking at a very severe case. A lot of my co-defendants are doing life sentences for it.
From that case?
From amongst the accumulated cases. Sat at the Old Bailey. From the Old Bailey I was given no further action, come out, and then life really kicked in. But I'll say prison was probably the best time of my life for many reasons. From an aspect of, I made a commitment between me and Allah that I will never miss a prayer. So I'm a born Muslim, my mum's a revert. My dad and my mum grew us up really well with Islam. There was an element of like, they weren't ever forcing it upon us, but they taught us the foundation and the base was there. Once that base was given to us, their own struggles created a broken home. Through that broken home, we then turned around to the streets. From going into the streets, we got influence and got involved in certain things that I'll say that a big part of it, we're all accountable, even though, again, I was very young when I got involved in stuff. But I've always had this sort of extremist mentality and mindset that anything I do at the best. So anything I got my hands on, I felt like I needed to impress because I believe the education system failed on me. I'm not academically smart. Yeah, I'm not academically smart. Struggled at all. I went to loads of secondary school, kicked out. A lot of it for violence. I believe that violence aspect came from the way my dad raised me. Like a rebellious to the way he was very disciplined and very strict. And then just seeing certain things at home, I just always used to turn to violence. And you know what violence is like amongst the community we grew up in. You start off by fighting and you start carrying tools and then it turns into a little mess.
Is this all in Tottenham? Or
all of it in Tottenham. All of it in Tottenham. So
I say raised here or from abroad and come?
Born and raised there. My dad migrated here loads of times, deported loads of times. So he struggled. Alhamdulillah, like he struggled up until recently. And I feel like my parents didn't fail. I believe the system in this country is created to make people like us who come from our culture and our religion to easily get diverted into certain things.
And in what sense? Where you're living? What? Because someone watching that might say, "Oh, that might just be an excuse." Or do you say,
"Well, I think the education system is the first foundation." Do you know what I mean? If your parents are not fortunate enough, like my dad, he was an immigrant who didn't have papers, so he struggled to get jobs, struggled to make money. My mum was thrown into a council estate house, so she struggled. She couldn't work, so she was raising 3 kids on her own most of the time. My dad's just trying to do what he can to bring the pieces together. But amongst all of that, he's an intelligent man, a very wise man, very street smart man. He also, had been in prison, done his thing. He left Algeria at 16, travelled around Europe to get to the UK at a very young age, So he had to be very smart. But at the same time, he had to also survive growing up with his grandma not having parents, I feel like he probably struggled to be like a good father role model. Didn't really know how to hold it down, but he done his best. Alhamdulillah. Like, as you get older, I feel like you become more acceptance
you
to their
empathize.
struggles. You know, when you're young, there's always a reason to blame, or there's always like, why me? But alhamdulillah, like, I had to really build this father figure from a very young age. So when it turned to violence, if it wasn't making me money, then I looked at other avenues to make money. So my dad taught me how to like hustle on the streets. And then that hustle then turned to me to trying to find an easy way to hustle. And I became very good at it. And then once I became very good at it, once I went to prison, I made that decision that that's it, I'm going to draw a line to it. And it was never easy, because again, the temptation is there. It's not like I came from a good background and I chose to divert and then come back into a good background. I came from a place where that was normalized. That was the only way, and no one ever makes it out. No one ever does anything positive. There's no role models, there's no guidance into the positive. And then when I went to prison, I just made that first initial commitment was like, I need to pray. Because whenever I used to not pray, and I believe it wasn't until I went to prison I really embraced Islam. You know, even though my parents raised me with Islam, like Ramadan will come, I wouldn't fast. Salat will come, I'll miss my prayers. My parents will ask me, have you prayed? No, I haven't prayed. They'll try to send me to Islamic studies and Arabic school, but I'll always get kicked out or dismiss the teacher. Or I never really accepted it. And where I was always, I believe at a young age, someone who used to like to please my surroundings or, you know, really lead my environment, and none of them were Muslims, I was easily like, oh, like, why are they better? Like, why are they different to us? Or why are we better than them? Or let me try to be like them. Do you know what I mean? Among the culture. So whether it was like violence, crime, music, whatever it was, I wanted to be part of them, because that was my surrounding. There weren't many, I would say,
role models,
Muslim role models or successful Muslim people that I used to look up to at that early stage of my life. So I feel like a big part of that was the reason why it was easy for me to go down that path. But then again, I had this mindset. I used to rebel. So my rebellions led me to a lot of violence. And then my extreme mindset is everything I wanted to do, I wanted to do at the highest level.
Yusuf, you want to take you back. So first,
Yeah.
Jazakallah khair for taking the time to come. Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
no, I appreciate it, bro.
Good to meet you as well, inshallah. Your brother's here as well, Idris, so good to meet him.
Yeah.
You know, one thing you mentioned, you said, look, you know, the mum's a Muslim, revert, dad's, you know, came from Algeria, Muslim, and so on. And you did mention that they done what they could do in terms of the Islamic side. You know, so those basic values of Islam, I'm a Muslim, there's Quran, there's the prophetic way, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There'll be a concept of basic knowledge of halal and haram, meaning they've instilled that in you, and you know there'll be certain things, even if it's not coming from Islam, Allah's put it in the fitrah, you know, natural disposition to know I shouldn't be doing certain things. So the first question is in terms of why choosing that lifestyle after you've had that upbringing of Islam from mum and dad. That's number one. Secondly, okay, did you go to prison at 15? And at 15, because I think you mentioned it initially, 15 years or maybe just before?
Yeah, 15, yeah.
15, and you started praying. Was that a complete change at that time? So the first question, and then the second question, after 15 in imprisonment, you came out and that's a changed person on deen and so on? So just lost.
So I'll be real with you, like, I'll be lying to you if I said that I used to feel that I had Islam in me. I generally felt the complete, like, the thing that I used to get up to, bro, I was the sort of guy, I wouldn't lead my Muslim friends or non-Muslim people into doing wrong, but within myself, I was numb. I felt like I was possessed at that time. Severely felt like I was possessed. I felt like I was a savage in a way where I was led by an inner feeling, something like was taking over my body. But it never really showed me another side of it. It just showed me one extreme side. And that's why a lot of the things I did were quite extreme. So when I went to prison, of course, like everything my parents laid as a foundation was there, but it was also my brother was in prison. In my case, my older brother, and he had been there already because he got remanded a lot earlier than me because I got given bail first, and then throughout the case, because the trial was going for so long and the case was going so long, there was more charges added onto the case, and then from there, I got put on remand, went to prison with my brother, spent time with my brother in jail. I would say a big part of me, I lacked Islam. Like as much as it was there, I was more on the other side. Like the way I can describe it's like, you know how they say bipolar, you're one extreme, the other. It's like I will easily just go off the rail. And but it was just like a lot of anger.
Yeah. So.
And then the second question.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
No, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second question, the prayers changed me completely. So, first of all, it allowed me to understand myself, which was very important. From a young age, you go through a process and a journey from being a boy to a teenager. It really allowed me to understand myself. It really allowed me to feel Islam. 'Cause again, I feel like before, when I had freedom, I didn't feel it. But when I was locked away, it gave me hope. And through the prayers and the commitment and the discipline I created, a lot of things started changing. So before I went in prison, I was very insecure. I was fat. That plays a big part to your health, plays a big part to your mind, having really bad eating habits, being quite obese. So the discipline I created to pray in jail gave me the discipline to exercise. The discipline to exercise and pray gave me hope, gave me courage, gave me strength, and I started to feel powerful in a good way. So I was like easily able to channel that extreme mentality there into something that I knew that if I carried on going, inshallah, I'll be free. So I never really prayed for freedom because, like I said to you, I had a good time in prison. I wouldn't say I completely did the 360 and I was amazing. Violence was still a big thing that I carried with me in jail. I loved fighting. And amongst that, I also loved learning. So I became a very good listener at this point. And I knew I had to soak in as much information. So I then wrote to the judge just before the trial finished. I said to the judge, look, let me out of prison. I gave him all the reason why I will change and I'll do this and I'll do that. And I also gave him, my solicitor gave a fair amount of evidence that some of the charges can be dropped because there's no evidence and there's no need to proceed to the end of the trial. And then I got given bail. At the time came to, the release dates. Also, the sentencing date, I was completely given not guilty for everything.
How long did you spend inside?
Just half a year.
Half a year.
But the time I spent there was with my brother most of the time. But at the same time, it was like, that was Islam for me. Do you know what I mean? That was Islam for me, like that. The brotherhood that developed there, the respect, the people I met, incredible people, very intelligent people, very amazing people. And like I said to you, I was a very strong ringleader. So when I went there, I created that my own circle, my own friendship, and we all had the same mindset, and going to like a youth offender prison, it was a bit savage, everyone's gas. So it made sense. And then obviously I came out, spent about 2-3 years trying to completely cut out crime, but the physical side, the violence thing was a bit difficult because you got people coming after you now, people that you've hurt, families that you've ruined life to, or, you know what I mean?
Done wrong to.
They're catching up with you. In the process of whilst they're catching up with you, I had this, I say, advantage that I just knew how to gain followers. So I had BlackBerry Messenger at the time, and I had a big following. And at the time, I put my before and after picture on my BlackBerry Messenger on Facebook at the time, because Facebook was popping. And I gained loads of traction. And through that, my time that I spent in prison, I was able to get fit, change my body, change my mind. And then hopefully, at the time, I was like trying to put an idea of what I can start doing legitly to make money or to survive. So that gained loads of traction, and I just felt nice for me to give back and help people. And I remember one of the 5 pillars of Islam is charity. For me, charity goes right back to our roots, like from a child, how my dad used to take us to the mosque or involve us in charity. That always stayed in my heart. Like that's been like my number one priority, and I've kept to that. Even amongst the wrong times I was doing all the wrong, charity always stayed in me. I feel like more so at the time than my prayers, I'll be more generous, more kind to my surroundings and my neighbours and people who I felt were in need. But I would dismiss my prayers at the time, but charity always stayed there. And then when I came out, prayer was my priority, so charity only got better. And then, so I wanted to help people, I wanted to transform people's body, and I felt like I had an advantage because I was good at influencing people, and I leveraged off my using my phone followers and stuff. And it was crazy because I had loads of limitations, a lot of restrictions. So even though I was found not guilty, I was still given a 5-year ASBO where I couldn't have a phone, I couldn't speak to or be in groups, I couldn't be amongst more than 2 males at a time, couldn't chat to none of my co-defenders. They were all doing big sentences. And to navigate through that, to go through the social work system, you know, they're trying to take me away from my mum and that, having a probation officer and having all of that. And even just having like the lack of basic skills of going to school and enjoying school, I came up with this idea that I'll become a personal trainer purely just to help people, because I fell in love with helping people, and that was one of my obligations that I had to do by the judge. It's just like, you have to do something for your community, you have to do something to give back, you have to work for free. So I developed this working for free, give back, try to build my own community.
What age was this now?
This is like, I studied like between 16 to 18, still involved. My name was still ringing bells. So my street name was Chubbs. Still heavily gang involved. I would say my coldies, my friends were like still getting caught up. My cousin, who was like my brother, my right hand, got acid when we was 18. He got shot out, they stabbed him. There was still like certain things I was involved in whilst that was going on. He then got arrested for a firearm charge, and then like up until I say 18, you're still in and out, got stabbed twice, you know. One of the times I got stabbed was my brother had issues with a guy in school. This guy kept trying to play the bully whilst I wasn't around, and then I ended up jumping on the bus, and then it all kicked off and I ended up getting stabbed in the bus. Again, that happened once I come out of prison. So there was a lot of things that, as much as you want to come away, where you finance, it's not there. Your dad's not around now. He's gone to Algeria. Your mum's single. She's at home. She's trying to raise the kids. My mum just gave birth to a little girl. So I had a little sister at the time. Money is a driving force. I went from making a lot of money to now not making money. So I thought, cool, what do I do? Started doing my research. Then whilst doing that, we went into London. And one thing about me and my brothers, were hustlers. You know, Dad taught us from taking us to the market. He took us to the market. He used to give us a $5, and they say walk out the market with £100. So you have to buy something and resell it. And it really taught us how to like hustle, because back home in Nigeria, in the souk, that's all he knew. And he had that hustle mentality. And he taught us what he's done. He taught us why he went in prison, and you know, this is the wrong way and this is what your life can look. And he did a very big bird. I think he done like 6 years or something. So he dealt with a lot of racism at the time in Italy. He dealt with deportation and all of that. So that hustle mentality allowed me and my brothers to go into London, rent out the free wheel bikes, you know, the rickshaw bikes. to rent those out.
Yeah, the
and
Boris bikes they call them, innit?
not the bikes, the rickshaw, the tuk-tuk bikes, taxi bikes.
The green ones that they have.
No, the free wheel bikes. You know, you carry passengers in the back.
The tourist
That's like, you know, man,
The tourist bikes.
South London, bro.
Yeah, tourist
Ain't
bike.
got that. Ain't got
They
that.
charge a lot.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
So
Okay.
we went into London, and within 2 weeks,
So when you say London, that's central London.
central London.
Okay.
Within 2 weeks, we're running our own operation there. Amongst me and my siblings, brought friends on board, tried to get a certain man from the roads on it to try and make some legit money, and that taught us a lot. That gave us a ground scheme of how to really provide a service, talk to people, make legit money, and run your own business.
Were you involved in, you know, like Tottenham has his own kind of like problems going on
Yeah, of course.
between different ends, Church Road, this and that. I don't want to mention names, but a lot was going. Were you into
Absolutely, bro.
part of that?
Even when I went back to visit, after I come out of prison, gone back to visit my brother in jail, I bucked into a pagan in the visit. I'm a visitor and I'm smoking a pagan like on the visits. That's normal. A lot of violence. Again, like I think I see violent led up to the age of 21. By 18, I removed myself from Tottenham. And the way I did that, whilst I'm trying to run this rickshaw bike business over the weekend to try and make legit money to help my family, I'm studying to be a personal trainer. Once I qualified as a personal trainer, I spent 1 year working for free. And at the time to work for free meant I made no money. I gained loads of experience. I was able to really master my craft amongst an industry where I was very saturated with great competitors, because I planted my seeds in the area where it was very wealthy. You know, they had big expectation, a lot of money. And the way I did that, I literally Googled online, what's the highest paid personal trainer job, gyms in London. And the area that I targeted, I spent like 2 months trying to get a job there, and everywhere turned me down because of my past. My CV wasn't clear. So I literally then thought there must be another way to get through the door. And I wanted to be in that environment because the discipline that I had with my prayers and my fitness just made me feel mentally stronger, made me feel good, made me feel positive, and it kept me away from the streets. And the time that I spent in the gym, I was happy to work and help people for free. It's made me feel good.
You didn't go back into Tottenham.
So 16 to 18, I'm in my probation period. I'm still there. I'm on house arrest. I forgot to mention, I'm on house arrest. I'm on tag. Loads of restriction, loads of limitation. I'm only allowed out of my house 4 hours in that period. Go probation, come back. So as things started to ease off, the time then I spent working in London just showed me a different side to what I'm used to.
Okay.
It opened my eyes to a different world. It opened my eyes into another way of making money. So once I became a personal trainer, I was fully qualified. At 18, I made that decision to go homeless. Before that, I was married for about 6 months.
Got married, yeah, mashallah.
The reason why I got married, bro, one of my biggest, I think, tests for me at the time, because again, I built a big following at a very young age. And
Of women.
not necessarily women, but I just built a big following, and I was a very influential person and a very, I say, like, looked up to person amongst the community, amongst just the people I was like around. And a big part of it, what came with it, was the fitting of the woman, innit? So at the time I made that decision, I just wanted to do something correctly. So I got married Islamically, and that only lasted for like 6 months. And then when that ended, a big part of why I wanted to get away from Tottenham, get away from the marriage, get away from certain issues, certain things, like even at the time my mum's house got burgled that I was living in, amongst people that I wanted to distance myself from, you know. The stuff that I was involved in and the people I used to be around didn't like that I wasn't around no more. They didn't like that I was spending a lot of time away from them, because you can imagine I had a big impact and I had a big name for myself.
Which part of Tottenham were you?
Ida Estate.
That estate, yeah.
Ida Estate, yeah, Ida Estate.
Okay.
So amongst these people, there's instant hate. These are the people you used to look up to. Now you're slightly doing better than them. They want to know why you're not around. They're not acceptance to it. These people are in their 30s and they're still there. They've been in their whole life.
Also, for you and anybody else to understand, look, these are not real friends. If you're trying to come out of the game and you're trying to better yourself through legit halal means, and they're not happy at that, okay, that's not a company.
Of course not.
That's good for you. And so,
But it's not hard. It's not easy. Comes with a lot of consequence. Comes with violence. Like you have to get involved in a lot of violence.
did that draw you back into situations, or did you stay, look, I'm out of this end?
What made it easy for me, and it wasn't easy, was when I got given a job. My first job out at the gym was to be a cleaner and work for free. That's how low I put myself. I said, look, just give me a job. I'll work for free. I'll be a cleaner. I want to prove myself that I can gain that trust within a new environment, a new kind of people within a very high class area. And my element of that was plant your seeds there, see what happens, keep it halal, pray. So what I did.
But you know what that is though? That is number one, humility. Yeah. I've been making so much money. I'm such an influential person in my ends. But now to start a fresh start, I'm going to work somewhere, do cleaning, not be paid, volunteering, not be paid. Okay, that's humility. And that's a character that Allah wants us to have in our deen. And that's the character the Prophet ﷺ had. So that's a good start. So, yeah.
And that year I spent there, I gave up my home. I gave up my ex-wife, gave up everything. And I started from scratch, and I started sleeping in disabled toilets. And I basically was homeless. But it was easy for me because it allowed me to be the first one when that gym opened in there and the last one to leave. And I created such an obsession and work ethic that I had already from doing whatever I used to do, just channeled it into something new, something positive. And I spent months just building my own community now here. And I started Instagram. And while starting my Instagram page, I'm offering services for free amongst a competitive area where everyone's self-employed. So I wasn't doing nothing haram or illegal, but I was tarnishing other businesses by doing that. And I had the work ethic and I had the drive and I had no responsibilities at the time apart from my family. And to keep them going, because I still had to facilitate them financially, I started consigning supplements and reselling them in the gym floor. And I thought, look, if someone can consign me supplements, so one of my colleagues consigned me loads of protein stuff and I was selling it in the gym. That money was to pay off my mum's debt. It was to facilitate what I've left behind because I still held that father figure. I still wanted to make sure financially my mum was in a good place, my brother was taken care of. And whilst doing that, I'm still training for free because I saw the bigger picture that I want to be a place like when I was in the streets, how I used to consign certain things and give testers. So how I used to get consigned certain things and give testers and knew that the demand will build eventually, and I became the main guy that everyone wanted to go to. So I just implemented that formula into something legit, which was harder because it didn't involve anything but my time. But I had this obsession, this work ethic that I was willing to work all the hours it took for me to build experience, build a confidence, build a community, build a trust amongst a new environment, and private in my life, not telling them about my past, even though a big part of it that led me there was that. So I don't regret anything, and everything that I did in the past gave me the opportunity to be in this new environment and to be here and really stand out from the rest of them. So whilst doing that, within the first year I got kicked out of that gym, not because of bad behavior, not because of doing anything wrong, but because I built such a high demand for myself, training people for free, or was tarnishing other people's businesses, that gym couldn't sustain itself. So they sent me to another gym. When I went to the other gym, all the gyms that turned me down were begging for me to come because I built a good name for myself. And this name, Pro PT, which no one knew because never had an identity or face to it. And the reason why I didn't do that because I wasn't scared of my past catching out with me, but I didn't want people where I was from to know where I am or what I'm doing now. Because remember, I gave it up completely. It's like I ran away. I've relocated from North London to North West London now. Brand new area. No one knows what it looks like. I lost a lot of weight. I'm in shape now. I'm fit. Praying. Attached myself closely to a mosque within that community, which I spent a lot of time going there. Was right next to the gym.
Is that when you started Pro PT then, after being so-called kicked out from these gyms?
Then I started, like, when I went into that gym, that's when I started Pro PT.
So when you were doing it for free,
Yeah, that's when I
that was
started Pro
Pro
PT.
PT. At
But Pro PT was way before that. I already had that in my mind. Whilst had that BlackBerry Messenger following, I started creating Pro PT. And whilst creating Pro PT, whilst being in that gym, I won loads of awards, like Person Trainer of the Month, Person Trainer of the Year. And again, I had no experience. I wasn't a person trainer. I was only a qualified person trainer, but I wasn't trained enough. No one gave me the resources, the guidance, but I knew that the mindset and the time and the effort and surrounding myself amongst other great trainers, I will learn so much and eventually have my own thing going on for myself. So once I got kicked out of the gym, all the local gyms were begging me to work for them. The ones that turned me down and said, no, you can't work for us because of your CV, now they're begging me to come. So what I did, I went to another gym where it's a freelance gym, and I said to him, look, give me 3 months, I'll take over this gym. And they're like, yeah. The manager who was at that gym, so the assistant manager, the first manager kicked me out. I had to kick me out because the gym was literally like not running. It was literally me running it. And the assistant manager followed me to that gym. Why? Because she was going to get a lot of bonus, a lot of commission from following me because I built that community. And it was only a mile away. So when I went to that gym, I did the same formula for like 3 months. Within 3 months, I turned all that 3 hours into a very successful personal training business. And those 3 hours that I worked for free, if you do the maths, I was doing about 16 hours worth of clients a day, charging anything between £60 to £120 an hour. And I knew straight away that I can translate that free work into a very paid, high value work. Sure. Once I did that, it got to the stage, I literally tarnished everyone else's business around me. I became very influential on Instagram, started building my followers at the time where Instagram was still fresh in the fitness industry. The whole gym went on strike. They said, get rid of this guy. We ain't got no work. Like, there's no business. He's literally taking everyone's bit. But I wasn't doing nothing illegal. I wasn't doing nothing but training people for free, building like my classes, building my own movement.
But there was other PTs there, is that what it is?
There was other PTs there who are freelance, who are either doing shift in return to not pay rent or pay rent to train their clients. But the way I was operating, my energy, the clientele that I gathered at the time.
Were you paying rent?
After 3 months, yeah, I was paying about £1,000 rent to be there.
£1,000 rent?
Just a month, yeah, £1,000 a month just to be there. But I had the flexibility to do my clients, and I was offering free classes, still kept the free classes fundamental in me to give back. And I carried that with me for close to a year before they kicked me out. They went on strike. They got the police down. The reason why they got the police down, because they wanted to kick me out. I said, you can't kick me out. There's nothing on my contract that says I can't do what I'm doing. I'm just a very strategic businessman who knows what I'm doing, and I know how to like put an infrastructure that becomes very successful really quickly. And whilst doing that, I wanted to help people amongst the gym. So it's not like I purposely was tarnishing their businesses. I was trying to help them, but they were too old school minded, very backwards, didn't believe in social media, didn't believe in doing things for free. I feel like they never had the advantage of doing things for free, but where I had nothing to lose, I was working for myself. Like my family were my priority and I was helping them, but they weren't living luxury and bougie like these other personal trainers. We still are from an accountable estate. I still went from, being homeless to renting a little studio flat, that I could take those risks and put the time and the effort. So whilst I did that for a year, they went on strike, they kicked me out. When they kicked me out, I thought, cool, I know the formula now. All I got to do is give value, give back, and do it amongst a community that I want to be in. So I looked around me, and I remember as a kid, my mum used to take me on a bus, and my dad used to drive me to these houses, these mansions. And I used to always be like, I wish I lived here. I wish I knew what's inside. I was always curious to that one day be welcomed into one of these houses. And at the time, I had a business partner, and me and her basically just went door to door knocking on all these doors to try get work, because one of the clients who I was training was the owner of Next, and they basically had the gym in their house. So when I got kicked out of the gym, like, yeah, come train me at my house. Went in there, and big mansion, swimming pool, had a gym, and I thought, oh, cool. So there's a formula here now. Every house on this road must have a gym. So all I got to do is go door to door. I went door to door thinking it's going to be that easy, but someone like myself who's got long hair, you still got a bit of a road accent, and majority of them turned me down. One person let me in, train his daughter, and this was among a Jewish community, which was very hard for us to even tap into. Financially worked really well because they're loyal people amongst their own people, and they refer you very quickly. You know, when something's good, they want it because they've got the money. So from that door to another door to another door, eventually I was training the whole road. Once I developed that movement, I got so busy, I thought I can't even go door to door. So I ended up collaborating with another gym. When I collabed with another gym, I brought my brother on board and I taught him the way. I took that responsibility. He said to me, I can't give up school. He was an A-star student, very well educated. He took the complete opposite path. He embraced Islam a lot sooner. He practiced Islam a lot sooner. He had that connection with his salah and the mosque and, you know, the discipline.
Idris, yeah.
This is just right, yeah.
Mashallah.
Straight away. And I feel like a big part of it was because he saw me and my brother go through it. And I feel like there's different type of people in the world. There's the people who learn from their own mistake, people learn from other people's mistakes, and people who just, you know, they just don't learn. You know, they just keep going, making mistakes. So I feel like I was the person who learned from a lot of it with my mistake until I matured and started learning from other people's mistake. But I went down that route. He, alhamdulillah, from a very young age, he just learned from other people's mistake.
And even with you, Yusuf, I mean, you've actually learned very quickly. Because 16 to 18 to 21. Remember, some people in the game, 35, 40. And they're still
But I'm filtering what I'm saying, brother.
You probably went through a lot.
A lot.
In earlier, but you know what? Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
It was a quick, short time.
Yeah.
The space of it.
Yeah.
So something that you mention always, you say, look, you know what? About money, making money. Yeah. Money, Allah's rich in rizq. You can do it the halal way or the haram way.
Either way.
And money can be made, like what you're doing now, halal way. Akhi.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And easier, less hassle, and nothing, you know, nobody's chasing you after. You
know what?
The legitimate way.
I respect that, yeah, but it's not easy. Even the halal way, remember the shaitan, like, you know the haram way, so the temptation's there. It's easy when you've never done haram, I believe. But when you've done haram, yeah, it's not easy to do halal. Because you're always fighting the demon. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that a lot of brothers that I know have tried to go the right way and end up going back the wrong way. Because once you've given up your soul to the demon, he's gonna come find you. He doesn't want you to go the right way. So he's gonna make it twice as hard, 3 times as hard. It's like when you in haram relationship, the shaitan leaves you. You're lost in it. As soon as you're trying to get married, he comes at you differently. He attacks you. Because he's got you, like, you're going away from what he's set you up for. Do you know what I mean?
But do you think with the haram way, it's quick money? That's why people say it's easy. You know what? I'm going to be doing certain things, and in one day I can make 5 bags, 10 bags, and so on. Whereas the halal way, okay, it's a bit more long term, innit?
When you're young, when I was younger, the haram way was neither quick or slow, but it was the way I knew. The halal way wasn't quick or slow. It's what I was learning.
Okay.
Now I know how to make quick money, halal money.
Alhamdulillah.
So you don't need to make quick money from doing haram. Do you know what I mean? There's halal way of making
How
quick
do you
money.
feel now? The halal route, how do you spiritually feel inside within yourself? And also,
So, go on, bro, sir.
And the second bit was, you know, like your ends in Tottenham now. Now, many years doing what you're doing the halal way. Is everything okay there? You can go to your ends and everybody's at peace, or is there still kind of like issues?
I don't go there because I feel like I fight a lot of demons when I go there.
Still,
Absolutely. A lot of trauma, a lot of bodies, a lot of experiences, like a lot of I'll say a lot of pain. So I avoid. I don't like it. I go there and I just feel like there's a lot of like sihr, a lot of like evil, a lot of black magic in the area. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I've witnessed it and I've seen it. And I feel like I was battling it a lot from a young age. So amongst that, I don't go back there. But how do I feel, bro? When I was doing haram, I never felt anything. But when I was doing halal, I started to feel amazing.
sure.
So when I was doing haram, I didn't feel guilty or wrong. I just felt lost. But when I started doing halal, I just started to feel amazing. And everything became pure. And a lot of bad happened whilst I was doing the halal. And I felt like it was cleansing me for all the damage that I was doing. So a lot of losses, a lot of struggle, a lot of, like, when people look at my success and they look at what I've achieved, those that don't know me will probably think it was easy or got handed off because it looks quite glamorous, but it's not. But you still feel empty. Money or not, you feel empty. Everything in this world, you feel empty. The only time you don't feel empty is when you pray. I was keep it real. Like, nothing was fulfilled whatever you need. Nothing, bro. That's the way I can describe it, yeah? But one thing that tops up everything after your prayers is giving charity. That, yeah, the joy and the happiness, it's a selfish thing for me. I do it selfishly. I do it because I know how it makes me feel. And there's nothing there in this world that comes close to it. And you can see from my success and the formula I implemented it was based off giving back. That's my foundation. That's my ethos into achieving everything I've achieved, I believe. And amongst the losses that I've done and the mistakes I've done, it could be many reasons, bro. Because even when you're doing halal, Shaitan will catch you doing something else. He'll lead into something else. And then when you're leading to there, you realize that's haram. It's to make you a better person, make you stronger. So then you go through another path and then you let go of that to now try to do this. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a journey. And it's never about being perfect. And I think that's a big thing when people like look at me or look at Islam or how I portray myself or what I show on social media. I do try to keep it as raw as possible. I don't glamorize it. I don't glamorize what I do. I don't glamorize success. I don't glamorize my past. I don't glamorize anything. I just do what I do, but my faith and my deen is my priority. As long as I got that and I'm trying to develop myself better as a character, at the same time I understand that social media is about being relatable as well, because I do see the positive impact of social media. Even though there's a lot of negative,
yeah.
I've seen the positive and I've seen the benefit and I've seen the values of it and I've seen what you can create from it and what good can come from it. It's still a new thing to us. It's still a new generation amongst us who are devoting and growing up in it. So it's like, we can't look at history and be like, oh, there's been a consequence of that or there's been a negative of it. It's like, we are the people who are used as experiment for one day in 10 years time, 15 years time, our kids can look back on and be like, that works, that doesn't work. Like the old generation of our parents or grandparents who maybe started businesses or who used to trade in markets or who used to, communicate a certain way or go to certain gathering, like the way social media has come and the way technology is evolving, the way I believe we're getting very close towards the end of time. Like, these are the toughest time, and I don't believe you should keep yourself away from it, because if you do, like, how are you gonna raise your kids when the society right now, everything's evolved so quick? So if you're not learning, if you're not adapting very quick, if you're not going with it, then what legacy are you gonna leave behind, and how are you gonna manage and control the next generation that's to come?
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
So how do you perceive social media then? Is it more pro than con or con than pro?
I believe if you don't have Islam and you don't have your prayers, everything is bad. But I believe when you have that, I believe you're gonna go through a journey, bro. And there's certain things that sometimes, like, as much as you don't want others to do wrong, sometimes you have to do wrong. That's what I believe, to realize what's good. It's what I believe is what gives us the purpose to this world. So why are we here then if everything should be always perfect? Or why are we here if we're not going to make mistakes? Because Allah's brought us here to do what? Repent. To pray, to worship.
Worship, yeah.
And big part of worshiping is what? Asking for forgiveness. It's what shows Allah's mercy, innit? So how I see social media, I see everything. We're exposed to it. Literally one search button right now can give you a million things from one end to the other. It's easy accessible. Literally, if you're not going to access, someone else is going to access it as well. So when I see people around me, all I want to do is help. And everything I do sometimes to portray or tell or share, a big part of my brands and my success has been telling a story. Like, look at these podcasts. Why I'm here today is because I've tapped into an algorithm, and this algorithm that I've tapped into has gained a lot of eyeballs that you brothers, alhamdulillah, reached out to me to come down today. So I look at that spectrum, and the only reason why I came here is because of that. And the only reason I'm here telling my story and hopefully it's going to influence and help other people is because of that. But I believe when you try to do something too good all the time, it's impossible, and you shouldn't focus on just that. Say again, bro.
When you're looking for perfection, you're saying?
Yeah, like, oh, you're just trying to do everything better, or you're just trying to be the best all the time. You can't do that.
There's a hadith, isn't
Yeah.
it? All of the children of Adam will make mistakes, and the best ones are those who make tawbah.
Absolutely.
So like you said, look, we're here as human beings, we're going to make mistakes, but it's about repenting, seeking forgiveness, and making those changes. One thing I wanted to ask Yusuf, so I'm just, interested and curious in your journey, so Jazakallah khair. And so, when the changes were made, business got set up, you were, mashallah, training people and so on, got your brother involved as well. So alhamdulillah, things are kind of like, popping off and they're doing well. Was there what's the word I'm looking for? Relapse. Did you at any stage, after things are, why I say this, because from being an imam, the brothers who were doing so well, and then suddenly, get a little desire. And it's a friend from the past that comes, hey, like, I got a good thing. It's just one time, you know what? You're going to make something big and then that's it. You can retire.
Yeah.
You don't need to even work. Was there any relapse in that journey?
Bro, alhamdulillah, Allah gave me a good brother. And a brother that we spend most of the time together. We remind each other so much about our purpose, our values. We become better and stronger together towards deen, and only deen together. And the fact we stuck to our prayers, I'm not saying we're perfect, we've done a lot, yeah, but we've got so far, we've come so far. And the fact that when the adhan goes on, it's time to pray, we drop everything, we go pray, no matter where we were, no matter what struggle, no matter how many highs, how many lows. I've never really felt the highs and the lows. Again, it's all down to my prayers. So anyone out there who's looking for an answer, or believe there's such thing as high and low, the only time you feel high and low is when you don't pray. Because when you pray, I'm telling you now, it's not just praying, it's about the right intention when you pray, yeah? And embracing trauma, past and life, and acceptance that Allah loves those who He tests. Do you know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah.
So when I had that embedded in me from a young age, everything, all my struggles right now, I struggle there hard. And as humble as I am, I look around me to see what other people are struggling, and I try to help another brother straight away. It doesn't have to be someone that I know. Sometimes it can be just going through my DMs and receiving a message of someone who's lost hope, or a non-Muslim reaching out asking me about Islam. But just helping someone out creates some sort of balance, eliminates my pain, my worries and my fear. And I think to myself, like, look how much Allah's put me through, and it was only Allah that got me through it. So I'm gonna waste my right now if I really are shook or scared or worried at any given point.
Or to relapse.
And at any given point, if I'm relapsing, I'm not just I'm letting down the creator who gave me this.
MashaAllah.
And that's always in us. And these are the conversations we remind ourselves as brothers. So,
But even that fact, look, because Allah loves you, Allah's put in your path a brother
absolutely.
that is going to support you. Look, when Musa alayhi salam went to Fir'aun, he asked, look, Allah, I need support. Allah said, go with him, go, Harun, go with him.
Yeah.
The messenger of Allah had his Sahaba, but then he had Abu Bakr and Umar.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need that kind of like support around you to give you like little
brotherhood.
boost, and that's from Allah. Allah gave you that.
Bro, you need brotherhood.
Yeah.
You need it. That's key, essential. There's no woman, there's no mother, you need a brother. It doesn't mean a blood brother, but you need a brother who has the mindset of getting close to Islam. You can't do this alone.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't do this alone, bro. There's only so much you can do alone. But when you have a brother, bro, it takes it to the next level. You help each other. Do you know what I mean? And I say brother, yeah, this is my brother, he's my blood brother, but anyone we speak to, anyone who's crossed past us, subhanAllah, the amount of reverts we've helped because of this journey and because of the way we practice Islam. And wherever we are, bro, our prayers come first. Events, business events, social events, certain areas where, certain places we, at the time, we thought, yeah, this is where we need to be. And until we get there, we're like, oh, this doesn't feel right. We'll go pray and straight away think of a way out of it now. Do you know what I mean? That prayer has been number one. So relapsing or going back or thinking of an easy way or what's the quickest way, absolutely not, bro. Man, like, alhamdulillah, like, my mind, I've embraced this journey. I've really embraced it and I've really suffered and I've really utilized Islam to my own advantage to really feel it and remember everything.
MashaAllah.
You know?
Well, so obviously we've spoken about the pro and PT. Obviously I also checked that you also have the other side.
Yeah.
So how does that two link? Because obviously there's only you and I'm guessing your brother. Do you run both of them at the same time? Or
So
what's the journey with the perfume at the same time then?
That's a good question. So with Pro PT, what happened is that when lockdown came in, obviously gyms are shut. At the time, didn't really bust past it, but we ended up renting a mansion. And this was like within the neighborhood that we were living. Grew a very big, successful personal training business. Like, I say the biggest in the country.
MashaAllah.
Training A-star-led celebrities, which me and my brother never really cared who these people were. We just leveraged off it. We wanted to just make noise. We wanted to be out there. We wanted to be in front of people's faces. Never showing our face at the time. It was like, who's Pro PT? It was like, who's the guy behind this mad movement? And then the rent in the mansion wasn't a flex or a stunt because me and my brother, when we lived in there, you can imagine when this 8-bedroom mansion, we've got a swimming pool, we've got a maid, we've got a spa. Like, easily we could have been gone. Even amongst the girls that we were around, I'm talking about the biggest models, the biggest influencers, the biggest stars, like people idolize nowadays. Like, it's crazy. And one thing that we kept together was like, yo, we just don't mix that. And knowing that we had our prayers, knowing that this for us like meant nothing. We used to literally, we had 8 bedrooms. We can literally every night sleep in a different bedroom. We chose to sleep in the office. Do you know what I mean? That was more of a marketing tool to really build a brand. And also, like, it showed us how empty you can feel in this environment, in this place. And again, like, whilst we're there, Islam, charity, the dawah we're given to these people was always our foundation. And then when lockdown came in, COVID, everything took a different route. I was fed up with that environment, especially within the Jewish community that I was in. I was doing so much to try and keep a balance to show them, look, that we're Muslim and look, we are within these people and we're trying to educate them about Islam. We learned so much about Judaism. We really respected them as neighbours, as we should in Islam. But they're very fake people in a way where they'll easily turn their back on you. Do you know what I mean? And we've experienced that. So when we experienced that, I was a bit cringed out by them within that community. Not all Jews, but within the certain community that we established. And again, a lot of our clientele were Jewish. And within the social world, a lot of them were atheists. So social media, we're training A-list celebrities and stuff. Financially, we're training top CEOs of these corporate brands, just offering what I was trained to be, a personal trainer. You know, there's the sort of values that I'm helping them mentally. They were there because they paid really well. And then amongst that, once things didn't work out for us, I just wanted to get away from that environment. Relocated, went over to Essex and rebuilt Pro PT with a new environment. And then obviously this is during lockdown, during COVID. And then I thought, nah, you know what? I need to do something with social media. Like, I was really relying on influencers and models and celebrities to promote my business and my name and stuff. And financially, I was very established within that community. I thought, now it's time to tell my story. At the time, I'm 21, 22. 22? Yeah, around 22. I'm in Essex now. New audience, new clientele, same movement, same strategy. Grew that. But I thought, nah, you know what? Something didn't sit right. Got married a second time now, and obviously with my wife, like at the time, being around the women, and even though I had no interest, like I kept my mind strong. Didn't care about the way they looked, or, you know, there was something that didn't sit right. And I wanted to get away from making my wife at the time feel uncomfortable. And then, subhanAllah, like, we weren't allowed to be personal trainers during lockdown. So then me and my brother was like, cool, we need to do something. And our older brother has started selling food in the streets, helped him with social media. Idris helped him a lot, build a business, and very quickly blew up. And it's a very well-established brand. A lot of people know about it. 24/7 cents.
Sure.
Yeah, mashallah, yeah. I think Finn gave me what's it, an Emra?
One of my brother's fragrances.
Yeah, he gave it to me, the second wife one.
There you go.
I
That's
was
right.
like, "Akhi, this smells banging."
So my brother,
Mashallah. So that's your brother? 24
Karim,
cents.
the Karim, yeah.
Okay, mashallah.
And then when that happened, as brothers, we don't really work together well. But me and Idris had the experience of Pro PT. So first we tried to do it together as a free. Then when me and Idris had a lot of experience with Pro PT, me and him were easily able to do something again on our own. But this time round, we've got the facility, we've got the finance, we've got everything. But one thing, because I'm a businessman and I've got business visuals, and alhamdulillah, Allah gave me this barakah, like, and my intention behind this, the Torah brand that we've created now, was I've always wanted to give back to the people from our background, our culture, and where we're from. And I said to my brother, look, let's go and get this product consigned to us because we want to tell a story. I could have easily gone and invested the money I had to buy the product. I said, no, let me get it consigned. Let's document this journey. Let's document the story. Let's get this product consigned and let's hit the streets. And now we're selling something halal. And you know, like, you see lots of brothers and outside the masjids chanting atar and stuff. We started off doing that, going to every single train station. And eventually, why are we just doing that? Why don't we plant our seeds in certain areas where there's Bigfoot fruit, where we can up our prices, we're doing something halal, and let's create a movement. By doing that, we are breaking certain rules, like we're not licensed to do it, we haven't got this. So we tried to find a loophole around it, and then eventually it started catching up with us, loads of fines, loads of tickets. And then by dodging them, we thought, cool, let's go into the markets. So we went into the market. Once we went into the market, alhamdulillah, with what we established with Pro PT, the movement we created, the followers at the time, we quickly grew the business to a very successful business. Basically hit the markets, and then with that, there was a big advantage because at the time, obviously, we was bringing what we had created with Pro PT back, because a good year that me and my brother stopped Pro PT, we didn't stop it. I was still doing it, but not on the same scale. I was doing it together. I was no longer in a mansion. I was in another big house, had a gym in my house as well, and I was doing it in Essex. But me and my brother all of a sudden just went our own ways during COVID.
Older brother or younger brother?
Idris.
You and Idris went
Me and
separate
Idris
ways,
went separate ways.
doing your own thing business-wise.
Yeah, he went to help Karim
Okay.
build up 24/7 cents, and I just carried on holding Pro PT together, trying to find a new way. So when we came back together, it was a lot of noise on social media, because Pro PT, a big part of it was me and him, because Pro PT never had an identity. When we built it, even when we got to the highest level, we never really need to show our face at the time. So just during lockdown, I started showing my face. I started taking my training as well to a different level. Because I talk about business, I talk about that, but there's a lot of also disadvantages throughout my journey, loads of injuries and a lot of mental battles and mental challenges I set to accomplish the level of success, and a lot of physical training and discipline I had to put and a big part of it was running. So I ran from Brighton to London, 60 miles in 12 hours without stopping. I ran from Cambridge to London, 45 miles, 7.5 hours without training. And I'll say
what did you do? Listen to David Goggins or something?
So the first time I did, because the first time I did it, I was basically prescribed like paralyzed through the NHS through these accidents I was having on my motorbike. And I lost sense on my right side of my body, just numbness, feelings. And they couldn't medically help me.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through a very tough patch whilst I was growing my business of not training and stuff when I was doing the personal training side of things. And I remember Googling what's the hardest physical challenge people have done from disadvantage, and Goggin came up. So I listened to him. Within 1 month, I went to Brighton, I ran to London.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought back the sense in my body, it brought back the strength, it brought back my inner belief, that taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Have you read his book? His book is very good.
So I'm quite dyslexic, I don't read and write.
Mm-hmm.
But my advantage is that when I listen to things, I learn it, I pick it up really quickly. Anything I listen, anything I see, I memorize from visual and from listening. Even now, like when I read, I don't read because I read a word. Like if you tell me to spell stuff, I can't. I read it because I memorize what that word looked like when I hear it. So I guess read.
Mm-hmm.
Like I look at it as an image. So when I listened to that,
his life and his points, yeah.
So that made me accomplish it. But after that, I did all his challenges and accomplished them. One in lockdown, I did the 4x4, 4 miles every 4 hours, 48 hours without sleeping. So 2 days on a treadmill. I accomplished that during COVID. A big part of that again was because of the mental side of things. Just wanted to like really tap into my mental state. So during that period, running became part of my branding. So now I'm known to be that guy who ran any condition. I'm always running. I'm just speaking out of my soul to my audience. And I created a movement. My followers started growing. So that's what I did during the COVID period. And then whilst I created that movement and building your Torah, then...
So even the name, we didn't get into it, your Torah.
So your Torah, Yusuf for the Y, the gold A is my mum and dad's initial. My dad's Ahmed, my mum's Amina. And then our surname's Boa Torah. So I took the last end bit of our surname, Torah, which our surname is very big in Algeria. And I just created a word, your Torah, which doesn't identify anything. It's just a brand. And the reason why I did that, because I wanted to create something that became a lifestyle brand. So I don't believe we're a fragrance brand. We sell fragrances because fragrances amongst our faith is sunnah. It's nice, it smells nice. And the first product that was consigned to us and we thought was a halal, legitimate way of making money was to sell fragrances. That's what we tapped into. And we did that because I wanted to create and show the people from our background that you don't need to be doing what you're doing to make money. You can do it the halal way, the legit way. If you're doing that, just channel it into that. And if you're broke, you haven't got money, you don't need money, you need consignment. So how do you create consignment? You network, you build a relationship, you build trust, and every business are looking for people like that. A form of employment is a form of consignment. You only get paid at the end of the month. So in fact, you're consigned a job. Why not consign a business?
A material product.
Do you know what I mean? And then you got a platform like social media where it's free. You're consuming it. Why not be the person that people consuming what you're posting? So I've never been a consumer. I've never been on social media just scrolling. I'm not a fan of social media and that element. I'm a fan of posting and playing the number game and really understanding the algorithm and how to scale businesses, modern businesses, how to create a formula and a foundation that will hold its own legacy one day, inshallah. So me and my brother come together. We literally took over the whole Stratford, took over the market. And then I was unlawfully arrested in just, I think, the night before Christmas. The police came, arrested me unlawfully. They thought we weren't contracted to be there. They thought we hadn't paid our rent, which we did, just because the person that subletted us the space went on holiday, forgot to update the centre, and they dealt with it so wrong. They arrested me, and that video clip I posted on my Instagram went viral. And straight away, a lot of people came on board to support me. And that made me realize, I need to come away from the streets. And I need to now find a way of making money online. So I spent a good 3 months studying social media, studying the, how to scale a business, how to basically keep costs and budget low whilst creating something for free marketing. So then I saw like TikTok was a good platform to start posting because the algorithm was good. So I started doing that. And then because I carried a very strong violent background, I thought, how do I make money legitly now through fighting? So I joined quickly the boxing scene, grew that very quickly. Brother Bounce, I don't know if you guys know Bounce, I played there. So he created that first Sunday smoke thing where people will come on a Sunday, they'll have a fight, and then it built a lot of clout, a lot of noise. But my goal to go on that wasn't to become a boxer or to just, because I enjoyed the training, I enjoyed the discipline of getting to camp, and I knew from that I could channel that audience into becoming more popular, more visual on social media.
It's a marketing strategy kind of thing.
And then having a landing page when people are building their interest, they're asking what I'm doing, I'm selling fragrances now, and the sales started to grow. And then when the sales started to grow, then I looked at other avenues, what were working on TikTok. And then, in fact, at this part, I went down a path where I eventually started doing everything for clout. And I went down quite a bad path, mixing with certain people, doing things for numbers, doing certain things for views. Even though my objective was, all right, cool, make money and you're selling the product and channel that audience into something legit, it involved me doing certain things I never felt comfortable. And I got out of character very quickly. I still kept my discipline, prayer, Islam and all that. But socially, straight away, I was misguided very quickly. But this time aware, which made it easier to come out of. And when I realised where it was going, straight away I took myself out of it and just focused on building the brand now. Now that I got the views, got the followers, got the customers, we set up our TikTok shop. So now we don't need to trade in the streets. Everything's online, everything's digital. So everything after that became just studying the game and studying how other successful businesses are doing it. And I don't have a real mentor or guide or someone there. Everything's self-funded by us. Everything's been done by us. But the story and the message behind the brand is that we wanted to create something that can help inspire the people from where we come from to start online businesses, to make money on social media. If you're someone who's severely into violence, you can make money doing something the right way through channel that energy into becoming a coach, becoming a fighter, whatever it is, whatever you want to do.
Bodyguard.
Whatever you want to do, just channel that. But use social media to market yourself. If it means you've got a history of crime and you've got criminal records, don't work for no one, work for yourself. There's a blueprint there. And then if you want to make money, look, you can make money now from views. You can make money now from promoting other people's businesses. You can make money now from YouTube and all of these things. So you don't really need a job or you don't need a career to create that. You can create your own career. So that was our message behind your tour. And I feel that keeping that journey and documenting that helped us grow very quickly, bringing my brother on board. And the first year, again, I did it pretty much on my own. So the second year when he came on board, it was like bringing back what we had created, what we left. And Probity eventually didn't feel right for us because it could have gone another way, especially with the people we're around. We're on the media, we're working with these stars and stuff. So with your tour right now, yeah, we're trading fragrances and we're doing something halal, but it's a lifestyle brand now. Now we can tap into anything we want to tap into because we structure it. So it's a brand and it's not just a fragrance brand. It's got a story, it's got a message. There's no real end goal to it. It's about adapting, evolving with time and adapting and understanding where the market takes you. And as long as halal will follow it and will lead by that.
Isn't it like a competitive field?
Absolutely not, because
Not or is?
it's not.
It's not competitive.
Because there's 9 billion people in this world. There's no way you're going to sell to 9 billion people. There's no way all the fragrance brands out there have even tackled to 1% of that 9 billion people. So definitely no competition. And at the same time, it's all from Allah. with everything we do, we understand it's all from Allah. And no matter who your competitors are, no matter who's doing, no matter what someone else, we don't care about no one. We generally don't. We don't copy people. In fact, the strategies that we implement is everything against what the fragrance industry is doing. The content that we post, our message and our story, we're not perfumers. We didn't come out with an invention. We weren't studying perfume for 20 years in a lab. We just consigned a product, tweaked it up a little bit, added our own smell to it, and marketed it in a way where we're building a story. And a big part to become successful in business is branding. So there's many ways in creating successful businesses. One, if you've got finance, you invest and you keep pumping money into it for the returns, smaller profit margins. Another one is that you create a story. You build a story, build a night, get views, and then you sell off that. So people buy into you, which is more sustainable, it's easier to grow. You build more of a loyalty. You're not depending on resources and others, you're dependent on yourself.
So you said the Pro PT, that one is not, are you still...
So Pro PT now is my own,
you're doing
my
that
own
still?
personal brand.
And you do that still, yeah?
I don't do the training.
Okay.
I stopped training people. What I do now, I coach.
Online or is that still...
I coach individuals.
Okay.
I've got a very big, strong algorithm.
Okay.
So I work with loads of brands.
Uh-huh.
I get paid to collab with brands. I leverage off my own audience to channel traffic into my fragrance brand.
Okay.
So I believe the last year, majority of the sales and where we took the brand came from what I established as Pro PT. Pro PT eventually became a movement.
Okay.
There's future ideas of turning Pro PT back into a brand. Right now, I'm just working with it. I'm just walking around with it. So with your Torah, it's a brand and a business amongst myself, my brother. It's something that sits closely to our heart as a family with the name Your Torah. Pro PT is just Pro PT. It's got many stories, and most of the biggest brands in the world and biggest companies in the world run off a story. It's never been about the money. It's never been about a final objective. Like Amazon started off by selling books, and look what it's doing now. You know, so that's how I see Pro PT. Pro PT is just like it's like an experiment for me. Your Torah is a lifestyle brand. So now we're creating the lifestyle brand, and it's about the people. Even the word Your Torah, it's got the word our, O-U-R. So our Your Torah, that's how we see it. It's for the people. And it started off with fragrances.
Has it got H in there?
Say again?
Has it got H?
No, as in how.
Yeah, it hasn't got our.
The Sa'a, yeah, the Yom Al-Qiyamah.
Yeah,
That would be, you'll find a H somewhere in there. That,
Yeah, exactly.
Even more reflective.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So with that, that's our one of our sort of ways of making money. And
So
then
they're the two businesses you lot mainly run.
now, I've got a beauty salon,
Okay.
women only. I'm not there. It just runs itself. So that's something that through my skill sets and my experience, I was able to go into business and invest in it and scale that.
Last, your name needs to be Abdurrahman bin Auf. You know the Sahabi Abdurrahman bin Auf?
Yeah, why is that?
Akhi, businessman.
Yeah,
He came from Mecca to Hijrah, nothing.
yeah.
Left everything, when the Sahaba to leave. Came there, met a companion, even a companion from the Ansari said, look, you know what? I've got this much, half for you, half for me. He said, listen, just show me the marketplace of Medina. Anything he could get a hold of, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Matter of time became, one of the richest companions.
SubhanAllah.
So your son, inshallah, Abdurrahman,
Inshallah,
yeah?
yeah.
You're going to be Abu
Abdurrahman,
Abdurrahman,
yeah.
inshallah, yeah.
Abdurrahman bin Auf.
Inshallah, yeah. So I've invested into that, scaled it, and now it operates itself. And we're currently working in rehabilitation in prisons. So a big part of the system is I want to go back in there. I have been going back in there since I come out, helping them, but now really establishing my own foundation. So I'm in talks with a lot of people, a lot of a successful organization, a lot of very high up people, very, like even just 2-3 weeks ago, I came out of doing a project in Belmarsh, big Cat A prison. And the governor of the prison sat down and listened to my talk, came up to me and my brother, said, never had anything like this before. The way you articulate yourself, the way you speak, the way you've touched these people's heart,
MashaAllah.
how relatable you are. I'm at that key stage right now. I'm only 27, so I'm not too old for the young generation where they lose hope, but neither am I too young for the older generation who have probably wasted their 20s and now thinking, oh, their 30s is too late. How do I start? And when I mean wasted, I believe the education system and the way business is operated and, just having a job has really messed up the way we are in society, the economy, relationships. One of the biggest divorce rates in the country or across the world is financial. It's not even cheating.
One of the reasons for the divorce rates,
is financial.
Yeah.
But in Islam, one of the key things you need to have before you get married is financial.
Financial means.
So imagine that, if people followed Islam and before they got married, set that foundation there, there'll be less problems. But I believe the way the system is working and the way things are is to create that corruption.
So when you go into prisons, is it like helping inmates to kind of like, when they come out, how they can start a business, or basically just mentoring them? What is
So
that?
at the moment it's mentoring. Eventually I'm going to have my own course, inshallah. So that's what we're working on at the moment.
MashaAllah.
Which is going to be a powerful, powerful thing, because no one's done what I've done. I believe so. And the way we are doing it now, no one's doing it, because there's two sides of it. It's like the ones who are changing and trying to do successful things, they're very old, so they have very old-fashioned ways of doing it. And that doesn't work for the young generation. And the young generation who have become successful or who have turned their life around from coming out from that industry, a lot of them have not done businesses. They've done like music or certain things that, for me, it's not the way I believe.
It's not practical for everyone.
For everyone. But what we created it works for everyone.
Anyone can start that
Anyone
business.
can start their own business. Anyone can sign a product. Anyone can start an online business. There's no restrictions. They don't check your CRB. They don't ask. If you got a product and you know how to create content, you don't even have to put your name on it. You don't have to put your face on it. There's so many ways around creating a successful business. And even if it's not a physical product, you can sell online courses now. If you have a story and a message, that can be translated with AI tool, with using voiceovers. Someone can tell your story and it become a very successful viral video. For example, now like TikTok pays £1 per 1,000 views. So every million views you get £1,000. So even just from what I post on TikTok on a weekly basis, every few million views I make £1,000 per million views.
MashaAllah.
That's more of a base salary for most ordinary people. Now, the stuff that I'm posting is just normal stuff. I'm just telling a story. So I'm just showing that to the people, like, when you come out, don't say to me you're going back to the roads or you're going back to do this or you got to do this because you got to feed your kid and stuff. Because you can now post content. I've also set up an Islamic page and it's just my daily reminders. And it's got 30,000 followers on TikTok. And it's just reminders for myself. It helps me, but the views and the people that follow the page and the people who consume that content, it's helping them. So it's a way of me giving back. But that pays me money.
So one thing, what I'm learning from, somebody might have a past and, they come out of prison due to a past, they're looking for employment. It's DBS checks, sorry, we can't employ you, block. But what you're saying is, look, it doesn't have to be that way. You can create your own journey.
Absolutely.
And there's,
And also for brothers like my brother who never went down that route and I have clean records is, cool, you struggled at school, there's another formula of making money. Or if you hate your job or you're struggling financially, there's so many ways. And it's not saturated. That can never get saturated because no one's doing the billions of views yet. The most searched man at the time was Andrew Tate and he only hit the 1 million views. Do you know what I mean? And he's making millions of pounds selling an online course. That's all he's doing. He's selling an online course, which means it has no overhead, no expense. So there's so many ways you can make money. And we did go through an era and a trend where being a funny guy, being a comedian, you know, going like losing yourself, indulging in certain things, that was the cool phase. Like that was cool. That was like going viral. Now being real, being raw, speaking the truth, podcasts, it's now the new thing. It's like taking men away from this disruption that we had of 20 years of westernized information and, you know, media, television, content and reality and movies to this is what people want to see now.
Reality they want to
But the real reality, and the real reality now can get you millions of views, and that millions of views now can be monetized by either giving people, you know, a platform to sell something, to influence, for brands now to reach out to you. For example, this tracksuit here, I got paid to wear it. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm sat in this podcast, I'm getting paid to wear clothes.
So you didn't get paid for this year, did you?
Nah,
It's from brands, I feel.
Shay, we're too low, man. We're too low.
But the audience and the algorithm has allowed the brand that I'm supporting and wearing, which is another Muslim brother, to generate sales. And he's a young boy, he's only 20.
MashaAllah.
And he's created something again from our background, our path. He's not put his face out there, but he's trying. And he reached out to me because of my algorithm, and I've given him something back in value. So there's so many other avenues, so many ways, which is not really spoken about. It's there, it's easy, and I'm telling you, it's so easy for everyone. And I feel like that needs to be encouraged.
True.
That needs to be encouraged. That should be the new education system. Shopify, content. And you don't have to do what we used to think you had to do, which was reality TV, because that's died out, or you need to be some sort of singer, rapper, or actor to make it, to get the views. Look up Brother Aki Awen, mashallah, like how quickly of an influence he's become, how quickly social media has grown. And now he can monetize that. Now he can leverage off it. Now he can create a foundation. He can create a charity. He can help other businesses scale. When he supported my fragrance business as a brother, my sales went up.
MashaAllah.
Do you understand? So like that's how I see social media, and that's the power of social media. That's the great value. And that's something that doesn't take a degree or a certificate or a time period that you need to revise and learn and then sit an exam. This is something you learn as you go.
Life experiences.
Or you learn from just going on YouTube. And a lot of people are doing it. Alhamdulillah, I've seen a lot of young hustlers. I've got loads of people that I've connected with. A lot of Muslim people now finally becoming successful, doing legit things. Where before it was like, be on road or, you know, become a rapper, sell yourself off, or do this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Or do funny content on, you know, make yourself look like an idiot on social media. But now it's like, no, like train hard and you can sell online plans.
Yeah.
Or start off your own e-commerce business and teach people how to set up their own e-commerce business. Drop shipping. I don't know too much about trading, don't get involved in it, but I know some brothers that make money from trading. So in that aspect, that's what I'm trying to do. And the reason why I want to help the prisons, because I do feel like the prison system has completely, if commercially and education, all of that has, you know, really messed up society, the prison system is there to destroy that community. So alhamdulillah, Allah's given me the barakah. So I feel like I have that obligation to give back to them, and I really enjoy that. And I meet the best of brotherhood, and I meet real people, very intelligent people who have done mistakes, who have devoted, who are very loyal, very trustworthy people who I believe, who are we to judge? They are normal as us. Those who have repented deserve another chance. And that's the objective with that. So you got your Torah, you got Pro BT, again, like where we're trying to take it to, then you got the prison stuff that we're currently working on. Then obviously I played a big role in a new documentary that came out on Channel 4 called Banged Up, which I got scouted from because, again, I believe my algorithm, what we developed on Instagram. my brother Mikey Mellon, who I believe we've had a very strong influence in helping him embrace Islam, now doing a lot of positive things.
Took Shahada, yeah?
Look, he's born Muslim, but I feel like he never really embraced it. So I feel like he did take his Shahada.
Okay.
I feel like he felt he needed to. But also, I don't know if you guys know CEO Kas Rahim, brother Rahim.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
I've met him.
Yeah. I haven't met him.
CEO Kas podcast. He does. So I believe me and him played a big part of Mikey Mellon really embracing Islam. And
Akhi Ayman was on that as well.
Mikey Ayman was on that as well, exactly.
Yeah.
So through that podcast, Channel 4, or the production team, reached out to a lot of people who were on there who had been in prison. So they scouted us, and there was no real objective or understanding of what we were signing up to. They couldn't tell us much, because it was all like, until you sign this, until you get to the next stage. But alhamdulillah, I was one of the first people to come on board and get accepted. Straight away, they really liked me from the casting. And right away, they invited me to their headquarters. I went down there. They really liked my energy, my mindset, what I'm doing. And because it was never done, it's not like I can go back online and see what have they done. You know, it's not like Big Brother, or like you can go back, what is Big Brother? You can kind of do, this has never been done before. So you don't know where you really sign up to. But what they're saying to you is like, would you volunteer to go back into prison? You'll get paid. But you only get paid like what you're
earning basically outside.
Earning.
Yeah.
Can't really pay you because it's like you're a criminal who committed an offence. And I'm like, yeah, look, whatever. But I had a game plan. I thought, cool, mainstream TV, people where we come from don't ever get a chance to go on mainstream TV. And when they do go on mainstream TV, it's full of rubbish anyways. It's nothing that I can relate to or want to go on. And, you know, I can even call me on Monday, like, I was filming a podcast with Mike Mellon, part 2 to my podcast that I did with him already. And the title is I got paid to go back to prison. And Akim is like, I want to ask you a question. Why did you decide to go back to the show? Like, why did you decide to go to, why did you decide to go back to prison, not back to the show? Why did you decide to go back to prison? You know,
this is after you done the show
after
already.
the show, like literally like a week ago, he told me this. And the reason why I accepted it, because of why I explained in this early stage of the podcast, how much of that helped me embrace Islam, create the structure, the mindset. I feel like I found myself in that part. So I wanted to go back into it, volunteering, to see if I can recreate memories and see how it feels, and at the same time have the privilege and advantage to be on mainstream TV. But it wasn't until, again, we enrolled and got to the day, no one pretty much knows what's going on. We sat at this big table and there's 30 ex-offenders, which most of them, some of us knew each other from social media, but I haven't really met any of them really in person, apart from Akeeman, that they're like, yeah, look, we want you to go in there, and it's about giving celebrities an experience in what prison's like. It's an experiment. We're going to get different kind of say. We're not telling you who they are, because we want them to come in and we want you guys to give them a real life experience what prison's like. Now, my role, my character, because they kind of sat us down and said, look, what was you like in prison? I was a menace. I was an absolute menace. I wouldn't consider myself as a bully, but I was someone who, very protective, a very strong leader, like I said to you, like a ring leader, someone who, I was up for violence. I was up to really protect the people I was around, whether it's because I used my size or my confidence or my, you know, my fighting ability to put myself out there. That's the sort of character I really tapped into. But it was quite difficult because I've changed. I've come a long way. But I also know what the TV want to show and what the TV want to see. And I knew before this comes out on Channel 4, to portray a certain look or a certain way, which was quite difficult at the time because it's not something I was ever experienced to. I had to prepare myself and start posting content before the show comes out to really show that I'm a changed man, because anyone who doesn't know me, doesn't know what I've done and how far I've come, and they see this TV show of me acting to be the person I was, to give the celebrity an experience, they'll think this guy is crazy. They'll think that, how does this guy represent Islam? he's out here talking about Islam right now and this and that.
So that was an acting show more than it was a reality.
Yeah. Acting, a lot of it was acting. It wasn't scripted, but for example, Channel 4 will come in, be like, there's this, we're not telling you to come, someone's coming in, please recreate this scene. We want you to go and intimidate this person, or we want this to look like and feel like this person it's not fitting in, or it's not setting on. This person has this certain views about Muslim people, so go there and really like make him feel a certain way that he needs to open up, because he's not the sort of person that ever spoke out or ever, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was acted, but it wasn't scripted acted.
Yeah.
So
there's narratives.
it was freestyled in the moment, and you're getting filmed 24/7. And at the same time, I'm trying to find a balance, because you understand, 24 hours, 10 days, 30 inmates, 7 celebrities on only 4 episodes of 45 minutes. Cut out the ads. 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, they want to capture not the moment you're in your cell, you know, doing good stuff. They want to capture the bit where
Drama.
things, and also they're creating drama.
Okay.
Because what they smartly did was they put a transgender in there as well. And strategically knew that as Muslims, we don't accept that. We don't accept the LGBT stuff. So strategically, they got the transgender to really provoke me. And as prison governors, what did they do?
I don't know, double you up.
Do you know what I mean? They like to...
Same cell.
Huh?
Same cell as you.
The transgender's not an inmate. It's a screw.
Okay.
Oh, it's an officer that made him.
It's an officer.
Okay.
A girl who turned to a man. So they really try to create that tension, that, and you can see it partly in episode 1. And I even told Channel 4, don't do that. Do you know what I mean? I said, don't do that. Everything's calm. I don't mind, because I understand that people who watch it one time is acting. Those who know me, those eventually who would hate, as we live in a society where people judge and hate. If they go and do their research or search my name and see what we do, they will know that this is just acting. And Channel 4 does let you know at the beginning of the show, this is all acted, These people are all reformed. Go onto Channel 4 website to see all the stuff they're doing right now. But if you're just landing to a clip that we're using to get eyeballs and go viral, you're thinking, right, this guy is a madman. He lost the plot. And his name is Yusuf, like, he's a Muslim. Like, this is how Muslim people are. So if you look at the comments right now, 50 of it is hate and like really trying to like, but 50 of it is positive. But there's only so much you can do. My narrative was to do that and now use those eyeballs to channel it into a business, channel it into me as a person, my story, Islam, create a movement, and just open people out. Because sadly, when you give them the truth and you give them, you know, the legit stuff, and you just try to keep it so PG, I say, no one watches it, no one cares, no one has it. Sometimes a bit of tension, a bit of arguing, and then as long as you can quickly flip the coin or switch the magnet around, you can get the negative turn to positive, you know? And that was my outlook behind it. And I think that's the reason why I also wanted to come onto this podcast today, was to talk about that, because I want to use these clips to start posting now. So when they fall into my page and they've come from just the Channel 4, they've come from a viral TikTok video, because I've got millions of views from this stuff. Like, in the last week, I've had 40 million profile visits on TikTok.
Inshallah.
Millions of views, and Instagram over 1 million views, over 1 million profile visits. So the eyeballs there, and I'll say 80% of it is positive support, and 80% of it has created amazing opportunities now. And I believe you reached out because of that. So look, it's brought me here. So like, again, we are that generation who are still experimenting this social media, this algorithm,
100%.
TikTok, Instagram, and there's not really any role models or people in the past who have done it, who we can be like, our uncle or granddad or left this, you know, like if your dad had a restaurant, whilst he's growing you up, he's teaching you how to run the restaurant. It's not like that. We are that generation, and I'm glad, like, I'm probably the one who's filtering it for the future generation. And I know Allah knows my intention, and I know deep down inside, like I said to you, my fundamental is there. Islam is there. It's the most important thing to me in my life. You know, doing things the right way. And it's not about what we show sometimes. There's only so much we can show. sadly, we live in a society where people consume, and only consume when things are like great and stuff and they look good. And sometimes you have to do that to really captivate them. But again, you have to make sure you're backing it up with, yo, this is the reality. And this is why a podcast like this, I want to utilize those kits to balance out, to not make things look glamorous and say, yo, look, it's not all of that. And that is not the reality. And if you actually look at myself, my life, my story, it ain't all about that. But if we have it and we've been given it from Allah, how can we utilize it to our own advantage without trying to be perfectionists, because we'll never be perfectionists, but to find the balance so you're not going too high, too low. You're trying to stay balanced, and at the same time, you're trying to create opportunity, because it's not haram to create opportunity. It's not haram to make money. It's not haram to facilitate. If anything, it's your obligation to do that. As men, we have to do that.
I think the more we talk about social media or any of these platforms, and I always said it before, is that anything in life, whether it's a knife, whether it's a gun, whether it's even food, it's the person holding it and how he wields it. You understand? So same with social media, it's the person who's holding and how he wields it.
Yeah.
So if we see on Instagram or any of these pages a lot of facade or a lot of evilness, it's because the people yielding it are upon that. And if we see a lot of goodness and khair come from it, it's because the people yielding it or holding it are bringing about that change. So the more people that's on those platforms doing goodness, calling to goodness, showing strength, unity, patience, all that kind of stuff, the more, like you said, the more eyeballs it gets, and the more people. For example, a beautiful example of that is the whole Gaza issue.
Yeah.
You have the whole Gaza issue, such a negative thing that's happening, but through that, and people seeing the injustice, people seeing their patience, people seeing them calling to God and Allah and Quran and Hadith, so many people have become Muslim.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So something so-called negative can bring about so much positivity. And I think and that's why I've been so quiet listening to your stories, because there's so many benefits that I hope many youngsters see, whether it's through when you was young and you had to go to prison and 6 months and change your life, or, the 2, 3, 4 years moving from your area and trying to build up a business, to working with your brother, which is a unique character to have, to, be united with your own blood brother as well, and to build something with him, and may Allah, make it a success. I mean, that it's not just that these platforms are negative, is the reflection of us that makes it negative. And if more of us done the things you're talking about and the things that we're promoting, then it will become a platform for goodness and for khair.
Absolutely.
And that's what we got from your message. But obviously we're lack for time, and there's many topics I'm sure we can.
There's one more thing I want to cover as well. It's like, you need to really protect yourself from evil when you're on these sort of platforms. I believe a big part of it is, satanic in a way. Even like when you when you really look deep into it, the people in control of it, how you can scroll and suddenly something comes out you don't want to see. It's really created to ruin us in a way, ruin our thought process, our mind, our emotions. And I want the people on here to be really aware that it is a very dangerous place. Very, very. As much as we spoke about the positive, they need to be very aware that it's a very dangerous place. And I believe it's very satanic. And I believe also protect yourself as well from evil eye, from, sihr. It's something that I've experienced, something that I've deeply experienced, something that, has been exposed to me only this year after doing ruqyah, that we don't know where you can get it from. But one of the easiest ways to get it from is either consuming content or someone using your content to attack you. Does that make sense?
So I think important, like you said, the salah has always been on point with
and your
you.
dua.
The adhkar, more even adhkar, reading Quran daily. The company you said, there's a brother that's very close to you. So there's things that you've got to, or, everybody's got to put in place.
Absolutely.
And that's a protection.
There's tools.
Yeah, 100%.
But this is the easiest time now before people thought to be possessed was, a very old school way of,
Yeah, the cauldron and the witches and all that madness.
And cut your hair and take your cloth.
Yeah, the one-eyed witch.
Do you know what I mean? All of that. But there's a more powerful, stronger way now that's really destroying a big ummah, big population.
But also, it's important. You've got to be selective what you put out, because sometimes, look, brothers might do this. They're putting the whole family out. These are my wife, my kids. No. This is what we're eating here. We're doing this.
That's what I'm talking about.
You've got to be
Absolutely.
very, very selective.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody.
I make dua all the time.
Yeah.
Because look, like me putting food out there, I'm trying to support a brand in the business. I'm not trying to showcase people that I'm eating better than you. That's my intentions. I'm making my dua. But it can be seen as, oh, this guy's living bougie. He's just trying to show off his. But I'm just trying to support a business. Yeah. So you can look at it. So as long as you're making dua and you're having your pure intention, you're going to get two-sided all the time. But the more you put out there, the more protect yourself, guys. Like, really protect yourself. Because I'm telling you now, it's a mad thing. I don't know if you brothers have experienced it, if you've seen people, or if you've felt it, if you're going through it yourself. It's the best thing, though, that I've experienced. Because it shows you how powerful Islam is. How the Quran can demolish all of this stuff. Does that make sense? How dua and dua can protect your sleep. How it can protect your family. How it can change. Your dua can change your destiny.
Yeah,
because it's in Allah's hands. Allah's the one.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that for me is like the biggest thing I've taken from life. You know, and it's the closest thing that brought me closer to Islam amongst every hardship I've gone through. You know what I mean?
MashaAllah, man.
Because from the opposite of good is evil, innit? And that's our biggest test. When the Dajjal comes and he takes the majority of the population, how do you think he's going to do it? He's not going to be like, I'm just going to pick you up randomly. It's what we're doing now. If we're not preparing ourselves, if we're not educating ourselves, and we're not protecting ourselves,
then you'd be easy pickings.
It's going to be a mad thing.
Jazakumullah khair. It's been very insightful. And I think, inshallah, everyone watches I'm going to watch it. I haven't watched it personally. The Channel 4 one. And I think there was other topics we went through with that we'll go and see. But yeah, man, Jazakumullah khair for coming through. You know, very insightful, mashallah. May Allah bless your business, you know, and your friendship with your brothers, mashallah. And inshallah, for everyone watching, we'll catch you on the next one. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.